Good afternoon all. So I'm here to talk about congenital hearing loss. The hearing loss जो बचपन से जब बच्चा पैदा होता है तब से प्रेजेंट होता है. कंप्लीट हेयरिंग लॉस ज़रूरी नहीं है. अगर सुनने की शक्ति में कमी है उसको भी कंजेनिटल हेयरिंग लॉस में कंसिडर किया जाता है. So आज the plan is to create awareness. It is not to make you read the theory, to go through the literature, but only one thing, we should not miss hearing loss at any chance. So as per WHO, 63 million people in India have significant auditory impairment. 291 persons per 1 lakh population have severe to profound hearing loss, out of which children in the age group of 0 to 14 form a major chunk. Congenital deafness is the most common birth defect in the US, and worldwide incidence of congenital hearing loss is 1 in every 1000. That is, हर 1000 जो चाइल्ड बर्थ है उसमें एक बच्चा डेफ पैदा होता है. So I already see the confused faces. My AV system did not fail. ये सिर्फ एक एक्सपीरियंस था to make you feel कि एक डेफ पर्सन को एक सोशल एनवायरनमेंट में कैसा लगता है. They do not correlate, they do not understand what is happening, and that is the reason they isolate. So who all are at risk? Children who've had premature birth, low birth weight, birth injuries, infections, prolonged NICU stay, drugs and alcohol in pregnancy, and definitely genetics. But WHO says that 60% of childhood hearing loss is preventable. So our national program for prevention and control of deafness has given these awareness posters to create awareness among the local public that do not use drugs during pregnancy, do not avoid infections, and meet the doctor when needed. ये इंग्लिश में, लोकल लैंग्वेजेस में, प्राइमरी एंड कम्युनिटी हेल्थ सेंटर्स में अवेलेबल हैं. So what is to be alerted? How do you know? Our esteemed pediatricians here are the ones who can pick up hearing loss just when the patient comes to them. So every age group has certain developmental language milestones. By what age, what is the level of language a child should be having? So they are the ones who can actually tell us, because parents are the ones who are completely in ignorance or they want to go in denial. And they send us and they make the ENT actually examine the kids and bring them the hearing benefit. So how do you know what causes the suspicious for deafness? So our OPD chambers are houses for stories. Parents coming to us and telling कि मेरा बच्चा सुनता नहीं है, he is not performing well in school, he stays isolated, doesn't talk to people, he is hyperactive and doesn't want to get involved in other activities. Let's not blame the child. There is a huge possibility that the child is not able to hear well and actually requires a hearing assessment. So as I said, an inattentive child, hyperactive, non-responding child, non-development of speech and poor performance are all indicators. So the picture on the right side of the screen is what a speech looks or sounds like to a deaf person. He misses out on words, he is not able to understand the conversation and prefers to isolate himself. So Carol Flexer has rightfully said, identification of newborn hearing loss should be considered a neurodevelopmental emergency. So why do we need a neonatal hearing screening program? That is, every child, जो हर बच्चा जो पैदा होता है उसको स्क्रीन करना for hearing loss बहुत जरूरी है. Early detection leads to early intervention, and that prevents the delay in speech and language development. And of course, it's important for social and emotional development, plus the quality of life a child is going to lead. So as I said, the consequences if not addressed, you have delayed language development, academic underachievement, social isolation, higher risk of injuries because you are aloof to the sound, and of course increased poverty. The strengthening is not only at our level, we need to reach the primary and the community health centers to bring in a change. You need to strengthen the maternal and child health program. We have to implement infant and school-based hearing screening, train other healthcare professionals to detect hearing loss, make hearing aids more accessible, and especially misuse of ototoxic medications. Do not use कोई भी दवाई pregnancy में अपने आप नहीं खानी है, and raise awareness to promote hearing care and reduce the stigma of deafness. So the most important implication of a hearing loss being the critical window for language development is between birth to 2 years of age, and if we miss that, it's never going to be the same again. So what is the screening process? This is the flow chart which is followed in most of the hospitals worldwide. Whenever a child is born, we make them undergo a test called as otoacoustic emissions, generally before discharge, and if not possible, preferably within the first month. If they pass, they have to be kept under monitoring if the initial risk factors are present. If the test fails, we go to the next level of audiological assessment using brainstem evoked response audiometry. And if you detect hearing loss, please rehabilitate immediately. So ASHA, that is American Speech and Hearing Association, has an expert panel recommendation for newborn screening. Every newborn has to be screened. The 136 timeline, screen within the first month, audiological evaluation completed by 3 months, and definitely rehabilitation by the 6th month. So this is a newborn baby in our hospital undergoing screening using otoacoustic emissions. If that fails, this is the next step, that is brainstem evoked response audiometry to detect the level of hearing loss. If the child is beyond that age and you have progressive hearing loss, so by 6 to 24 months we use visual reinforcement audiometry. For 2 to 4 years we have play audiometry, and for more than 4 years we can use pure tone audiometry. Now coming to management. Parental guidance is the most important part here. Parents are the first ones who can see it, and they are the first ones who go in for denial. हमें accept करना है hearing loss क्योंकि वो कोई बीमारी नहीं है, वो treatable है. बच्चे को isolate नहीं करना, सबसे मिलवाइए, टीचर्स को बताइए, अपने फैमिली मेंबर्स को इन्वॉल्व करिए. आगे बच्चा क्लास में बैठेगा, टीचर्स को देखते हुए सुनेगा, उसको सब समझ में आएगा. Social activities will increase his brain stimulation and confidence and better his communicative skills. Next, we have the hearing aids. So they have to be used as soon as the hearing loss is detected, and they're extremely useful in mild to moderately severe hearing loss. Sound stimulus is the pathway to development of a child. The picture on the left of a colored brain is basically the difference between an untreated hearing loss and a treated hearing loss. So when you have deafness, you do not have brain stimulation, you have accelerated mental decline and high risk of dementia. On the other hand, a treated hearing loss leads to better communication skills, you become socially active, you stimulate your brain, and definitely your brain also remains active. So the graph on the left shows जैसे ही आपका hearing loss बढ़ता है, आपके दिमाग की भूलने की शक्ति, that dementia risk also tends to rise, and this is it reduces with the use of hearing aids. Social activities, लोगों को मिलना, बाहर जाना, we all are social animals, we are not to be isolated. It stimulates your brain. So please act now. If anybody of you in the audience, अगर आपको किसी को भी लगता है कि नहीं हमारे को सुनने में थोड़ी दिक्कत होती है, हम words नहीं catch कर पाते हैं, please अपना audiological evaluation जरूर करवाइए. Last but not the least, the magic aid for the profoundly deaf kids as well as adults. This is useful for anybody who has complete hearing loss with an intact auditory nerve. For kids, the implantation should be by 1 year of age to gain maximum benefit and initiate the brain stimulation. Early exposure to sound is must for language development. So the only message I want to give you today is screen, screen and screen. Work on your suspicions, get an audiological workup and give them hearing. This is the most, I would say, the biggest achievement we as otologists and audiologists can boast about. Thank you. Thank you for giving your ears to listen to me.